Hey, what's up, players? WWE Hall of Famer Teddy Long. And when I want my Cardinal news, one Cardinal, one club, and one beer, I listen to Vincent and Jason. And they know they better do right, or it's either one-on-one with The Undertaker.
Welcome to our next episode of One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer. JJ, last week I had it all set. I found our first episode, and I redid the whole video to where it was this grainy black and white, and I thought I had it, and then when I put it up, I realized it only recorded like a minute and a half, so I took it down immediately. So
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I actually made a little comment, and then I went back to look for it, and I couldn't find it. So I thought, it's me. I don't know what I'm doing.
I had to take it down, and then I didn't have enough time to fix it because we were getting ready to walk out the door. So I'm sorry, people. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer. I do want to remind you to like us on Facebook. For those of you who are watching us on the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button so you can have our information as soon as it drops. If you'd like to reach us, you can contact us through one of our platforms, through the Facebook, through the YouTube. You can leave a comment, or you can email us, good old-fashioned, at onecard1cup1beer at gmail.com. If you'd like to support our efforts through Patreon, that is greatly appreciated. Go to patreon.com. Just need to search in the search bar, One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer, and your support is greatly appreciated. So we have a panel coming up in I don't know, 8 minutes or an hour. I don't remember how long, but we have a panel coming up in the show. If you'd like to be a guest on a panel in the future, let us know. We'd love to have you as a guest. Some of you who've been watching us for a while, please say, man, I want to be on a panel, because there's some people I just want to see your face. I mean, JJ sees a lot of you, and some of you, I want to see what you look like, dude, or dudette. So anyway, JJ, how are you doing?
Hey, Vince, doing pretty good. Now, I got hurt this week, and I'll tell you that story. But first, I'm going to, and this ties into how I got hurt. We got our friends at a Boys Dream Hobby Shop. You wouldn't believe what's going on down there. They've got all these signings coming up, and each week it seems like a new person's coming. So they gave me this sign to promote some of their signings coming up. As you can see, I'll take it by there real slow. They're fantastic. Brad and his whole staff are phenomenal. And every player that comes in, I'm grateful, because I live in Potosi, Missouri. There's not a whole lot going on down here. We got a couple factories and fast food and hunting and fishing and canoeing.
Wait a minute. You guys have tornadoes every other month now. That's exciting.
For you tornado chasers, that's fun. But yeah, we have this little shop down in Caledonia. When I first heard about it, I was like, Caledonia? And it's growing, and they've just now expanded the building. They're getting players to come in. Like this weekend, it was scheduled for Saturday, and it was Andy Bennett and going to be John Mabry, the Cardinal player, but he got a job with the Baltimore Orioles, so they brought in Andy Bennett and Jason Isringhausen, the all-time save leader for the Cardinals. I'm very excited about this. So I'm going to Pittsburgh with Brody tomorrow night. We're going to be gone about 3 days. And Saturday, it's going to be blast. I'll do a lot of videos from there and talking to the Pirate fans and everything. But we're going to try to get back in time Sunday morning to go to the signing. And I believe it's 12 to 2. And I'm excited to meet these guys. And they just announced in the last 2 weeks that Scott Rowland's coming and Terry Pimbleton. And I'm amazed that he's doing such a good job. Plus, he's building a arcade. Oh, timeout. Yes,
that's Hall of Famer Scott Rowland.
Hall of Famer Scott Rowland. Chris Carpenter, not a Hall of Famer, but a Cardinal Hall of Famer. So yeah, I'm just blown away by Lance Flynn coming and Vince Coleman, and my gosh. Jim Edmonds was a huge thing, and they've announced they've got this working agreement with the schools around here, and each signing they will spotlight a school, and the school kids will come down and help out, and 10% of the money they make goes to their sports programs in these little schools around here because they're very small schools. And I think that's wonderful. And it's just kind of, I mean, there's like an energy. It's just growing and getting bigger. And he's, like I said, he's got a arcade coming. There's going to be a little movie outdoor night driving kind of thing where they just show sports movies. And he's building a Fenway Park wiffle ball field. And me and Vince and Brody have talked about having a wiffle ball team. So every day, Vince, I go out and I throw 100 pitches. I've been working. And the other day, I threw a sinker that's unhittable. I mean, a foul ball if you're lucky. And all of a sudden, my quad, the back of my quad, I thought I snapped it. And I'm going, Brody, oh my gosh. And I'm up against the car, and I came in and Faith put ice on it. Each day it gets a little bit better. So, you know, I got to take it easy. I'm a young 61, so I got to be careful out there. And we're going to Pittsburgh. And I was like, I don't care if I got to crawl. I'm going to Pittsburgh Pirate games this weekend. So that's what's going on with me.
I'm telling you, we're going to be lucky to make it through one game.
I know. They're going to have me on oxygen.
Hold on, I'm getting a lot of sunlight in here.
Woo! Yeah. Oh, also, Brad gave me 4 autographed pictures. Gary Bennett and I love it. Look at this Matheny. Wait a minute. The Matheny. So next week, just let me know. I'll put names in a jar. I'm just letting people know about the signings and what all's going on down there. There's a Gary Bennett right there with hugging LaRussa. So I got about 4 of these to give out next week. Let us know. I'll mention it again at the end, and we'll give them away to our listeners next week. So that'll be kind of cool. I like doing that. And Brad said, hey, make sure some of the people watch, and a lot of people down there watch and listen as well. So anyway, which is kind of nice working with us folks.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm the Cub fan. I'd like to see him get a Cub down there just to see what kind of
Jason Mott technically is a Cub. We had Jason Mott.
Jim Edmonds was a Cub for a little bit. I'm talking about, Ryan Terrio played for both teams. He's predominantly a Cub. I'd go see Ryan Terrio.
I would too.
Or the Riot, as I used to call him, because that's his last name, the Riot. So,
how about Greg Maddux? He was a great Cub. Get him down there, Brad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry that BB Richards has passed away because
we would go crazy for BB Richards.
Park, man, just waiting to get in there. So
me and you both could have giant bees and just be doing that. We'd be the BB Richards extremists there.
JJ, I want to tell you what I got for Father's Day because we just had Father's Day. I did pretty good for,
You're a great dad. You're a great father.
Seriously, all I did was ejaculate.
Well, you did it as good as anybody.
Then 30 years later, I'm getting gifts. It's kind of a pretty good deal.
Oh, that worked out
good. Tabitha came over Saturday, her and Mondo and my grandson Dominic, and they're not sports fans at all, but I don't even think she knows that I have a collection of these. They got me the official 1990 complete handbook on baseball, and I have them on my shelf here. I've got like 8 of them up here now, and this is really cool. Dave Stewart on there on the cover, green like the Athletics. They were so good then. So they got me that. They also got me this little baseball card plaque of Javi Baez for the Cubs.
Yeah,
so
he's having a good year this year.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yesterday, Rebecca, she DoorDashed me sushi for lunch, so I had some wonderful sushi.
Hey.
Sunday night, Evelyn took me to see MJ Linderman. I don't know if you've seen him before or heard of him.
No,
He's a young guy. He's kind of alt rock. We went to the factory, and he was fantastic. And I explain it like this. It's kind of like Neil Young meets Pink Floyd. It was awesome. Really? So Evelyn and her boyfriend Tony and their friend Ryan, we all four went. Yeah, I was the old man there. I was the only one there that didn't have friends there. Everybody else is running into people. Oh, hey, nice to see you there. And I'm like, any other senior citizens around here? But there were a lot of older people there. It was a really fun time. So I had a great time at the concert. Uh, Max called on Father's Day to wish me a happy Father's Day. He's
Love
very
that, Max.
busy. Um, they're getting ready for Amazon Prime days, and but you know he did get me 4 tickets. Me and Kathy and him and someone else. I told him to find another rando because I can't find anyone else to go to Omaha with us. Uh, we got 4 tickets. We're going to go see the Omaha team, the AAA team for the Kansas City Royals play. And then on the way back home, he's going to follow us to Kansas City. We're going to see a Royals game. I think they're playing the Mets that day, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Violet called me on Saturday to wish me a happy Father's Day, which Sunday, but she's very busy probably. She says, I got a gift and I'll give it to you when I get home. So I had a fantastic Father's Day. How was yours? And I'm not saying fantastic Father's Day just because I got gifts.
Faith cooked. She made a chicken enchilada. It's like a casserole with like Doritos in it, and it kind of melts in there. And her dad likes that, so we went down and ate with him. And it's something we all like. It used to be like a standard at the Jackson house. We'd have it every month. So we did that, and then all my kids called. But the big thing is Faith got a little trip put together for like I think July 15th. We're going to spend a 3-day weekend in Springfield, and she's showing her sister's son. I guess is that nephew? I don't know how that works.
Yeah,
he's going to go to Springfield. He was going to Mizzou, but his girlfriend's going to Springfield, so he's going to Springfield. She's going to show him. I know.
No. Rebecca graduated from there, got her graduate degree from there.
Yeah.
Ellen finished there this year, and she's getting her graduate degree there.
My wife went there, yeah. But if you're going to Mizzou and your girlfriend, so he wants to be near his girlfriend, who, by the way, her father is the chaplain for the Cardinals. Maybe we can get her on here or him. Hey, I never thought about that. Yeah, we'll get him on here talking, telling some stories. We'll do some
awesome.
Some confession. Anyway, we're all going down there and we're going to see a Springfield Cardinal game together. And we're going to go to they have what is that, the Pro Bass shop where they have like a big aquarium there or something like that.
Yeah.
We're going to do that and play some putt-putt golf. Just fun stuff for the weekend down there. So that was my Father's Day, and it was very nice. I talked to all the kids, and I love them to death. It just seems like they're all so busy now. I don't see them as much as I'd like to. And I'm in the same boat you are.
Yeah, they grow up and leave. And
I know.
Next thing you know, you're telling your cat how they're special baby. Speaking of Springfield, the reason we didn't record last week is because I had to make a trip to Springfield where Violet lives. And JJ, before I get into the video of Kathy and Violet's friend Gwen, and me going to the Springfield Cardinal game, we went to a couple of antique stores because it's what we do.
Oh.
And we both got some vinyl because Kathy has some vinyl. I have some vinyl. We're talking about we need to get a stereo because my stereo is in my nerd cave. Hers is in her office. She said because there's some that we both like. So we need to get a turntable in the living room. So the albums that we both like,
go in there.
That's awesome. But so we picked up some vinyl and we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
You're gonna guess if this is mine or Kathy's.
Oh, I like this game. This is tough. I know your taste a little, and hers, I know she likes the Kinks. That's all I kind of know about her.
I didn't put any Kinks in here. That was too obvious. So. Number one, we just talked about this guy. Look what I got.
Oh, rock and roll, baby. Well, Vince, I'm not going to take any time here. I believe she likes Rick Derringer, but I know you love Rick Derringer. So I'm going to say that's a Vincer.
Rock and roll. This one's mine, but she found it for me. She's like, "Oh, look what I found for you." So
it's in perfect condition too, Vince.
Oh, it's it does need a little work. Um, but I love that.
Oh,
Frampton Comes Alive had a fold out like that in the middle. Just wonderful things they used to
I
do.
just watched him and oh, he was on David Letterman a long time ago, and him and Edgar Winter were playing a song together. It was one of Edgar Winter's songs, and it kicked butt. He was the lead guitarist on it, and
Oh
just
yeah,
did.
great guitarist. Played in so many on so many. He and like Timothy B. Schmidt would
Oh,
play on these albums for these hair metal bands, lead guitar, and not get any credit. They'd get paid handsomely for it because the hair metal bands, besides like I think CC DeVille played really good, but a lot of them were just not great guitarists. So they would hire these great guitarists and not give them credit, but they would pay them a lot of money. Rick Derringer played on a lot of albums that he didn't get a lot of credit, didn't get any credit for. So
I
album
found out
number two.
he produced the first 6 Weird Al Yankovic albums. He was the
I
producer.
did not know that.
That's what Weird Al said on a talk show. They were talking about his friend Rick Derringer.
Oh yeah, he had his fingers on a lot of stuff.
He
Yeah.
did the guitar solo from Eat It. He did that. It sounded like Eddie-ish,
Wow.
but that was Rick Derringer on that Eat It.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
Okay, album number two, Billy
Billy
Squire.
Oh,
Emotion.
everybody wants you, right? That's that one. Yeah, emotions, emotion. Well, I'm going to say I love the In the Dark album. His first.
Wonderful album.
That's a great album. I'm going to say Your Lovely Wife. That's her album.
This is Kathy's album. Very
All
good.
right.
Yes.
Doesn't sound like the Kinks, but I like In the Dark a little bit better than that one. But there's about 3 or 4 really good songs on that one too.
I remember cruising with some older friends through Wood River and Bethalto, and we would have in the cassette In the Dark, and we would just crank that. That was awesome.
My Kind of Lover on that one. Woo!
Next one.
Oh, Liverpool, Get Lucky. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, that's a great album. Boy, who would have liked that? I'm gonna say Kathy.
This is Kathy's also.
Yeah, I felt
Awesome.
that.
This is Working for the Weekend, When It's Over. I love When It's Over.
I do too.
That's an awesome song.
They were a great band, Canadian, and anything I can think. There was something about Loverboy. I can't think of what it was. I always think of Farley when I hear, Working for the Weekend.
Yeah. Oh, album number 3, Jackson Browne, Running on Empty.
My God, I love that song. I'm gonna say that's a Vince opera.
This is Kathy's.
Oh, okay. I strike one.
Running on Empty, and
The Pretenders
with the Loadout and Stay.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that Pretender song. Paint by Number Dreams. I love that song.
Yeah. This one is strange.
Okay.
I love this guy. I used to watch his show all the time growing up. This is called Don Kirshner Presents,
Oh.
and it has like it's a weird mix of rock and disco. Like it's got Baby Hold On by Eddie Money, and then Emotion by Samantha Sang.
Oh,
Sometimes
good song.
Sweet Touch, Daz, So Into You by the Atlanta Rhythm Section.
Wow.
Best of My Love, the disco from
Love that one.
The theme from Close Encounters. This is just kind of a cool.
Close Encounter themes on there. Oh my God.
2 out of 3 bad. Awesome. Great Paul Davis song, I Go Crazy.
I love that song.
Yeah. So
Vince, you have a little melancholy to you. And when you said that Paul Davis song, and you like the mishmash, just like the K-Tel greatest hits and all that, I'm going to say Vince Opera right there with the Kershaw.
You are absolutely wrong. This is Kathy's.
No, well, I'm telling you why. She's throwing me some curveballs there. Although you like that album would be in the living room, right, with your new stereo.
Yeah.
Okay.
This was a tremendous find. The Crosby, Stills and Nash, the first album, the one with Sweet Judy Blue Eyes, Marrakesh Express, and this is just a single album, but once again, an awesome fold out.
Oh, yeah.
Back when they were all young and alive.
And had their original livers. Yeah, that can change a man right there, losing a liver. All right, Vince. I've been wrong the last two. I've got to pick up my game. Vince Hopper.
This is mine. Very good.
All right. I knew if I said that enough, I'd be right eventually.
See, my dad once randomly gave me this is in the 80s when I was in high school, early 80s. He gave me a cassette that had Crosby, Stills and Nash and Young, some Crosby, Stills and Nash, and some Neil Young, just kind of a hodgepodge. And I thought, big deal. And on the other side was Long Distance Voyager by the Moody Blues. But I thought, okay. So I started listening to it when I would mow the lawn, and I just kind of got hooked on it. And that's how I became a Crosby, Stills and Nash fan. My dad kind of passively forced it onto me. So the final album,
Deep Purple,
Made in Japan, the live album.
Probably My Girl from Tokyo's on there.
Yes. It's got Highway Star, Strange Kind of Woman, Tokyo, Smoke on the Water, and side 4 is a 20-minute version of Space Truckin'.
Wow. How about that?
All right, who we got here?
Man, that's a tough one. I'll say Kathy.
This is mine.
Oh, man, third strike 3 on me.
Hey, yeah, you were 4-3, pretty good.
All right, I'll take it.
All right, like I said, we went to Springfield. We caught a Springfield Cardinal game versus the is it the Tulsa Drillers, the
Yes.
AAA team or the AA team for the Dodgers, and enjoy the video.
Okay, JJ, we're at the Springfield Redbird game. Kathy, Violet, and Gwen in front of us. And we're going to watch some AA baseball, man. And there's a couple of Little League teams on the field. There's some Cardinals warming up. There's Kathy, blocking her eyes. And we have Violet and Gwen. Say hello.
Hi.
All right, JJ, we are going into the third. Rincon in 2 innings has 5 strikeouts. The Cardinals are up 3-0 on home runs by back-to-back home runs by, I think that was Davis and Baez. Look at this, JJ. $2 hot dog and broad day on Tuesdays. Oh, look at that. $2. Yeah. Life is good at a minor league ballpark. There's Louie. The highlight of my night so far, he fist bumped at me. Yes, he did. JJ, we're in the top of the 6th. It is 8-2. Cardinals. Baez has went deep twice. It's been a fun game to watch. It's a nice day out here. Fans are going absolutely bananas right now in this 8-2 score. Oh, wait a minute. No fans are going bananas. I'm sorry. Well, JJ, we're leaving in the bottom of the 7th. It's a laugher, 8-3. We had a great time. Beautiful night in Springfield. Next month, Omaha.
JJ.
Yes, sir.
The starter for the Drillers, and I didn't realize it until they took him out, was Jackson Ferris. That's who we traded to get Michael Bush.
Really?
So he's still in AA, and he got hit pretty hard too. So I'd say we did pretty good with that trade.
Well, sometimes I will say pitchers take a little longer to develop to get to the pros. Sometimes. I mean, you got your Paul Skeens and your Jack Morrises and those guys, but some guys just, well, look at our pitcher, Livator. he was a big draft choice, and he's just now kind of coming to his own. So sometimes I'm not poo-pooing on the Cubbies, but sometimes it just takes the pitcher a little longer. So we'll see. That deal ain't completely done, but right now it looks like it's a landslide for you guys.
Well, Rincon pitched for the Cardinals, and he looked really good.
Oh, okay.
And he looked like a AAA pitcher. I was thinking he's really dominating this AA. Maybe it's time that he moves up a level, but he threw really good. I think he had like 8 punch outs in 5 innings, and I mean,
good. He's ready to go up to the next level.
Yeah, they weren't really hitting him hard at all. So
JJ Weatherholt, what did he play that day?
Yeah, and enjoyed watching him play. So
yeah, does he look special? Like you say, man, that kid's pretty good.
Not like outstandingly special, but you could tell he was one of the best players playing that night. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you can see you get to AA, things really start separating.
Yeah,
and you can see this guy is probably moving on, and this guy is topped out, probably in single A. So they pulled him up, and he's not really pulling his weight at AA. So you can start seeing things weed out there. Yeah, he definitely looked like he belonged in AAA. He's got a future in AAA, and so did Rincon. So fun to watch them play.
All right, way to go, Vince.
But we had the tremendous thing we've been waiting for over 650 days for. Ohtani's first start. Highest viewership on MLB.TV by 28%.
He's money, Vince.
Yeah. 2 for 4, 2 RBIs. He only pitched the first inning, 1 inning pitched, 2 hits to give up an earned run. But he was hitting 100 miles an hour. And yeah, his stuff looked good. I thought they would have tried to stretch him for 2 or 3 innings, but just to make him an opener to start, I thought. But I guess it's not like they can send him to AAA to ramp up. I guess they have to. Hey, we're going to take your huge bat out of the lineup so you can go to AAA for 3 weeks and ramp yourself up.
I had a stat somewhere in here, and this is an odd stat, a little nice piece of trivia that we can use someday down the line. But Ohtani was only the 4th pitcher since 1900 to pitch and bat leadoff. That's the 4th time that's happened. And somewhere in all these notes, which I'm frantically looking through, I'm trying to find the 4 guys that pitched, and I cannot find the darn thing anywhere. Oh, here they are. 4 starting pitchers to lead off. One is in 1968, Cesar Tovar, September 22nd, 1968. Alvin Dark.
That's the one that they were talking about. I thought Alvin Dark started a game.
I didn't know that. Yeah, Alvin Dark. I know him as a manager, but not a player. But September 27th, 1953, and then a guy, Jim Jones, maybe not the one we're thinking of, September 30th, 1901. So 4 starting pitchers who led off. Very rare, and I heard that as soon as he came off the mound, they had all of his batting gear there. So because it's time now, can't take all day. So he ran over there and started putting on his shin guards and elbow pads and all that, got ready and got in there and batted. And he had a great game at the plate. He's money, Vince. People love going. I know the attendance goes up around the league when when the Dodgers come to town because they want to see Ohtani, and I do too. I remember just through since I followed baseball 51 years now, there's certain players you just draw to. Nolan Ryan was one of those guys. Bo Jackson for a time was that guy, and I think Ohtani's one of those guys. I reckon I've seen him once, and if you get a chance, just go. I love watching the guy play, and we're in a good time in baseball. There's so much talent. So many good young players coming up I'm excited about, and a lot of stars. Every team's got at least 1 or 2 stars on their team or somebody you like to pay attention to. So
yeah,
it's a good time in baseball.
Every team should have at least 1 star that people
Yeah.
Give people a reason to go to the ballpark.
Yeah.
Now, Alvin Dark, I know he did it for the Giants. Do you know who Cesar Tovar was playing for?
No, I don't. I always affiliated him with the Twins, but I don't know if that's what I'm if I'm thinking correctly there or not.
He
So
played
I
for a few different teams. I know Jim Jones, he was pitching for the Guyana Kool-Aids.
The Kool-Aid drink. Yeah, those guys.
And he killed that night.
He slayed him.
There's been enough time we can make a little joke about it.
Oh, it feels like a boulder off my shoulder now. There you go.
All-star update. These are the Cardinals and Cubs that are placing in the top 5. First base, Michael Busch is in 3rd place. Nico Horner at 2nd base is in 3rd place, and Brendan Donovan is in 4th place. And obviously, people are not paying attention to how good Brendan Donovan is playing because Nico Horner's having a heck of a year too. Donovan's having a better year offensively, and I think he should maybe be doing a little better. Shortstop, which I think is a real travesty, Dansby Swanson's in 5th place. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with the fans not knowing who Mason Wynn is enough to put him in the top 5.
It's early, but the Cardinal fans haven't really showed up in the voting. But yeah, he's one of the few guys I would give some votes to. Now I have to say, wait, because Brody's really been on there voting. So, and he's pushing that win agenda. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think he's a top 5 shortstop.
Yeah. Matt Shaw's in 4th place and 3rd base, and that's just because of the name on his uniform. He has definitely not had an all-star year. I mean, he works for our team right now. He can make a lot of mistakes right now because we have enough offense to cover for him. Defensively, he's really come around and he's become a very good defender at 3rd base. Made some great plays, but he's not an all-star. You know, Cub fans show up, so they vote. He's in 4th, 3rd place. That won't last. Outfield, PCA's got the top vote getter, and Kyle Tucker's in 2nd, and I expect both of them to retain that. And catcher Carson Kelly's in 2nd place, and that is basically because of the first month he's had, because he has been very much below average from the middle of May on. And a designated hitter, Seiya Suzuki is 3rd place, and he should be 1st place. He's so much better than that Ohtani guy. And Rafael Devers, he's now in 2nd place in the National League for DH, being he's been traded over. So there we go. Ron Taylor, former Cardinal, pitched in the league from 62 to 72, pitched out of the bullpen for the 64 Cardinals, passed away. One of those people who was not great, but he was good enough to stick around for 10 years. So gets all my props for that. Do you know anything more about Ron Taylor?
No, all I remember him is in team pictures, and it's sad to say. I mean, I probably went over his stats a few times, but nothing really caught my eye. He was a good player. I believe he pitched on a World Series team somewhere in there.
64. Yeah,
64 team, and but there were so many stars on that team. As a fan, you know that, but that was just a little bit before my time. And I do have some baseball cards of his. And Vince, really, that's all I really remember. I'm ashamed to say that's all I can really remember on Ron Taylor. When I saw the thing, it was one of those like sensational headlines, and I was like, "Is this real?" I didn't even know if it was real or not until you just said it now. So I seen his name, and I was like, "I'll wait to hear this from a legitimate source like Vince Opper before I totally get into this story here."
You call me a legitimate horse. Oh, I love a big unexpected trade. Rafael Devers, who is a malcontent in Boston. Yeah, there's a part of me that's like, I get it. You're told you're the 3rd baseman.
Yeah.
And then you wake up one day and the news pops up on your phone that you've signed Alex Bregman. And then they say, oh, by the way, we want you to DH. Well, you didn't want to DH. You told me I was going to be a 3rd baseman. I kind of get that. He swallowed his pride and he was having a heck of a year.
Great year.
as a DH. And then the first baseman got hurt and said, "Oh, we want you to learn first base now." And he said, "Stop screwing with me." I mean, he is a hitter. The Giants, who are in desperate need of offense, they pick up Devers, and they give up Jordan Hicks, former Cardinal, Kyle Harrison, Jose Bello, and James Tibbs the third. Not the first, not the second, the third version of James Tibbs they got. Devers this year is hitting 272 with a 905 OPS, 15 home runs, 58 RBIs. That is really going to help that Giants lineup. He is in the second year of that 10-year, $313.5 million contract. And then there's people who are saying, okay, Matt Chapman went on the DL, just the 10-day IL, excuse me. When he comes back, is Devers going to be okay moving to DH? I'm sure all this was talked about before this trade. Matt Chapman, excuse me, who is one of the three best defensive third basemen in the National League with Arenado and Brian Hayes. He's won a Platinum Glove. Yeah, you're not going. Rafael Devers is I'll be nice, he's a pedestrian third baseman.
Yes, you're right.
He's worse than a pedestrian third baseman. Okay, so
that kind of money, it's disappointing fielding. Yeah. I'll be honest with you, and who am I to judge these guys? But in a league where there's so many good defensive third basemen, he's not one of them. He's just kind of an also ran, but his bat is top notch. That bat will improve any team he goes to. Vince, I was thinking too, the Giants have really went after some free agents. They've put together a pretty good team and brought up. They've got pitching, and they're a very good pitching team. It's just they needed help offensively, and I think Devers. You said this about 2 months ago. You said, you know how long it's been since the Giants had a hitter get 30 home runs in a season. It was Bonds, and that was over 20 years ago. Devers could be that power guy who should exceed over 30 home runs. And then that lineup, it ought to make it much better. And Boston, like you said, he was a malcontent. I heard stories that David Ortiz would, who's a legend in Boston, try to reach out to him and talk to him and maybe mentor him, and he didn't return the calls. He didn't really like doing the extra things like where the season ticket holders come in and the players mingle. That's fine. They're not going to get rid of you for that. A lot of players don't like doing that. But just not moving positions, you are a professional, and I think of people like I said, Wilson Contreras went to first base. Matt Carpenter went everywhere the Cardinals asked him to go. Now, they're not Devers' level of a player or anything like that, but I don't know. I think maybe he'll have a chip on his shoulder, and this could turn out great for the Giants. And in the long run, maybe this is best for the Red Sox too. They may have some guys coming up that can do that job, and we don't know if Bergman's going to be back. Don't he have a buyout where he can leave after this year? The Red Sox, that would be scary. You just got rid of Devers, then Bergman may not stay. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's kind of scary that you get that turnover that quick.
Yeah, Boston, every so often, they just find themselves in a mess.
Yes.
And then a few years later, they'll be in the World Series, and then they'll find themselves in another mess, the beer and
magic.
chicken, the stuff, So you never know with Boston if this is going to knock them down. It's going to be interesting because he's going to one of the most hitter-friendly parks to one of the most unhitter-friendly parks in baseball. So it's going to be interesting to see where his numbers end up for the year. If he does end up over 30 home runs, if that OPS does stay above 900, I'll kind of keep an eye on that. But the Giants have been hanging in there. They know how to win the close games. But yeah, and like I said on here, I've got a friend who's a huge Giants fan, and she's like over the moon that they finally got a bat. You think about it, they thought they had Carlos Correa, and then he didn't pass the physical, and so now we got it back away. Then they made this huge push for Judge, and that didn't work out. They pushed for Ohtani, that didn't happen. So they finally have that upper tier player that every team needs that's going to contend year in and year out. So I think it's a good move for them if he does stay happy. And I'm not I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. This is an organization that knows how to handle malcontents. They've had Jeff Kent, they've had Barry Bonds, they've had people that nobody else wanted because they're not good in the locker room, and they went to a World Series with them. So I think that's the best landing spot for his temperament. I'll put it that way.
Very good, very well said. And they got a population out there, Hispanic population. If he goes out there, he could be the darling of the city. He could be the mayor or something like that. That missing piece. 79, I remember the Pirates were a great team, but they were just missing something, and they went and picked up Bill Madlock. And it just seems like, I know Mad Dog, a great Cub player, great ball player, three-time batting title. But when they got Bill Madlock, it just seemed like it worked. It just came together. And Devers could be that guy for them. They're exciting, fun team, and I think their catcher is one of the better catchers in the league too. So that's a good man. I'm gonna keep it on. Brandon Webb, I love that guy. He's one of my favorite pitchers. So I'm excited. And I'm rooting for anybody to beat the Dodgers and the Yankees. Come on, the rest of the league, let's get together. And I'm actually pulling for the Cubbies. Vince, I think you guys have put a real strong, cohesive group together, and you guys play good together. You're exciting. But here's the difference. You guys are looking for maybe a pitcher or two, and your coach is doing a great job. But the Dodgers, just like that. Oh, Otani's going to be in the rotation now, throwing 100 miles an hour. The Yankees are getting Stanton back. Yeah, he used to Giancarlo Stanton. He's getting him back, and like, what the heck are the rest of us supposed to do when they get these kind of players, or just the extra guys coming back? So it's going to be tough, but man, I'm pulling for the rest of the league over those guys. I'm a baseball fan, and the Yankees and the Dodgers are great. Yes, I know, but I like it when the underdog teams rise up and beat those guys.
Yeah, I do too. The Braves did Craig Kimbrell kind of dirty. He a player of his ilk pitching in their AAA. They call him up. He pitches a clean inning, and then they DFA him. Now the Rangers have since picked him up and assigned him to AAA, but my gosh, what he gave to that city during his prime years, and for them to bring him up and then say, "Oh well, we're going to DFA you now." What the heck?
It's a cold business.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you could have called up any rando from AAA to pitch one inning and DFA them. Yeah. I just found that weird and disrespectful. But,
yeah, with the money you got and these teams have, just let them with dignity play out the rest of the year, even if you keep them with AAA or something. But yeah, I'm with you. That's kind of very disrespectful. And I hope he goes over to Texas, because I got money on Texas in the American League, and kicks butt and takes names. Yeah, there's nothing more motivating than vengeance.
I'll tell you, the players that played with him on the Cubs have spoken very highly. He's a great teammate. And he had some rough times with the Cubs. I mean, one year he was an all-star with the Cubs, but he had some rough times. He was starting to fade with the Cubs, and he was really starting to have to work at closing games. And yet players still loved him, and I don't know. I just don't like seeing players treated like that unless your name's Barry Bonds. They brought up Matt Chapman for the Giants, 10-day IL with right hand inflammation. Pablo Lopez for the Twins has been moved to the 60-day IL with a strained right shoulder. That does not sound good. Cole Reagans comes off the IL and then goes right back on the 15-day IL with a strained left rotator cuff. The 1970s, 1980s injury, the torn rotator cuff that I never hear of anymore, but his just strained. Also, the walking wounded, Kota Senga, is on the 15-day IL with a strained right hamstring. Jackson Merrill, 7-day IL. That's the concussion protocol with the Padres. And Yu Darvish is on the 60-day IL with right elbow inflammation. That does not help them. And it is the 17th of June, 18th of June. So yeah, it's about that time of the month that Royce Lewis goes on the 10-day IL for the
I
Twins
know. Gosh, he can't catch a break.
with the left hamstring issue. Um, Kyle Freeman for the Rockies, 15-day IL with a lower back stiffness. He's brought up every now and then as a trade possibility to contenders, and I would kind of like to see what he can do on
It's a good team. Yeah.
out of Colorado. He's got the stuff, but been in Colorado for quite a long time. I'd like to see him go somewhere where he could actually compete. Aaron Savell, he complained to the Brewers that they didn't like the way they were using him. So they said, okay, go to the White Sox. They traded him for Andrew Vaughn.
Yeah, I think Kimbrel got treated nicer than that. Don't ask for a trade. You might get what you ask for.
Yeah, and as you brought up, the Yankees get stronger. Giancarlo Stanton's off the 6-day IL with him and all that bat speed. And yeah, people are going to be in trouble playing the Yankees. So,
oh my gosh. And with all his injuries, every year he gets hurt. He may still have an outside shot at 500 home runs. That's how good he is. When he plays, he's dynamic, but he just can't stay on the field. And as I mean, I don't want anybody to be hurt, but my gosh, that guy can't catch a break with the injuries. I guess it's what it's like being 6'7" or whatever. It's hard. Your back hurts and all that, So.
Oh, so that's my problem. I'm 6'7". That's why it's hard. My back hurts.
That's right.
Wait a minute, 5'9". What's my excuse?
Well, I don't know.
58
Your
years.
neck hurts because you're looking up at people all the time.
I'm about 6 weeks from turning 59, and JJ saying, "Play wiffle ball with me."
Well,
Okay.
we're in the talking stages. I don't know if I'm going to make it to the season, but I'm trying. I'm out there giving it my all.
You're in the medical field. Make sure that we have a defibrillator at the game.
I'll take one off the wall.
There you go. That's all the general news I got. You got anything?
I got a couple things. I always like to salute people or bring attention to milestones and things like that. And Andrew McCutchen, since we talked, he was tied with Clemente, third all-time in Pirate history. Now, he hit home runs with other teams. I think he spent 4 or 5 years with other teams. He was a Pirate, great player, went away for a while and came back, and he's back in his third season. And he has hit 242 home runs in a Pirate uniform, passing the great Roberto Clemente, who had 240 home runs. He moves into third place all by himself in Pirate history. The Pirates are a team, one of the, the standards of baseball. You got the Reds and the Cardinals and the Cubs and the Dodgers, the Giants, the Yankees, all these great teams. So if you are in the top 3 of anything, you have accomplished something. So it goes Willie Stargell, Ralph Kiner, and then McCutchen with 242, Clemente 240, Bonds, and then Dave Parker. Now, that's good company to be in the home run categories right there. And then Pete Alonso, who had 17 home runs this year. For his career, he has 243 home runs. That is very impressive. And he has just passed David Wright in Met history to go second all-time in home runs. It goes fourth, Piazza, 220, David Wright, 242, and now Alonso with 243 as of yesterday. And leading, Vince, who do you think is the all-time Met home run hitter, the top guy with the most home runs in Met history? Strawberry with 252. So Alonso's only 9 home runs away from tying Strawberry as the most home runs in Met history. And the Mets, he almost left this year. So it's kind of great. He's been I think the MVP of the Mets this year so far in this early part in the third of the way through the season. So it's good that he stayed for the Met fans. And I like to see a guy stay his whole career with a team. So I kind of hope Alonso stays there and plays his whole career there.
I'd like to take credit, 100% of the credit for Pete Alonso, because last year I said, because there was rumors that the Cardinals or the Cubs wanted to sign it or trade for him, and I said, I don't want him. I don't think the guy's a winner. I can't remember like big home runs. And as soon as I said this, what's he do? He has big home runs during the stretch in the playoffs in this year. So you're welcome, Pete.
Thank you, Vince.
I wasn't a fan of his until the second half of last year. And it's like suddenly big home run after big home run. I'm thinking, I don't remember too many big home runs from you, but
yeah,
there he goes.
He's the last at bat that Bob Uecker called because he hit that ball. I thought the Brewers were going to beat the Mets, and he hit that ball that just slipped over the wall over there in right field in Milwaukee, and the Mets went on to the next round, and they had a great year last year. So I remember that one play as the one I'll probably always remember from him. And then the players of the week this week, and I asked a question. Well, I'll be. Well, anyway, Ronald Acuna Jr. has come back now, and he is on fire. And he had a heck of a week, hitting a lowly 619 on fire, 3 home runs, 6 RBIs, being the National League Player of the week, and the Texas Rangers second baseman. Vince, I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't know this kid's name. His name is Josh Smith, and he's the American League Player of the week, hitting 423, 2 home runs, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs, and 9 runs scored. And his on-base percentage was a 1.269. So he was on base causing chaos. And the Rangers, don't count them out yet, Vince. That Ranger team, I think they got the pieces. There could be something special down the stretch. And now they got Kimbrel. So look out. So that's all my news about around the league right there.
What's going on in Cardinal news?
Well, Cardinal news, it hasn't been good news. It's been bad news. It's been sad news. Some of the things with the transactions and movement on the team, Jordan Walker was on the IR, retroactive for 10 days. He's back. And it would just seem like he was just finding his groove and at the plate. This year he's been so much better defensively, and he's got a really good arm out in right field. So he's back. Brendan Donovan was out with a big toe issue, and he did not go on the IR, but he took about 3 days off, probably did him some good. And I do think he is the best player on our team defensively. And man, he takes some good at bats. But one of the things the Cardinals did was we signed a guy to a minor league contract, Zach Plesac. Remember that name, Zach Plesac? Dan Plesac's nephew. He had about 5 years with Cleveland. Well, he did play 5 years with Cleveland and 1 year with the Angels. And it always seemed like he had potential, but he always was just, all right. So he's in the minor leagues now. Maybe we can unlock something and find that, diamond in the rough. But I think it's worthwhile. Give the kid a shot and let's see what happens. We can always use some pitching. And let's see. I was going to address a few things. There was a phrase that was out there, and it seems like it came around in the 90s, maybe, or maybe 2000, in mid 2000s, where they say St. Louis Cardinals, the best fans in baseball or all of sports. I don't know what the heck. And I was like, I remember that came about, but I don't know where it came from. Well, I did a little investigating, and the first time it ever was written that it was said was Peter Ueberroth came to St. Louis, and he said, "Oh, these Cardinal fans are the best fans in baseball." So I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't know no difference. I only know what I see and do, and there's some knuckleheads out there, but we got some good fans too. But I don't know what would make us any better than. I think some real good fan bases are like the Cubbies, of course, the Dodgers, the Red Sox are rapid. I don't know if and the Phillies, they're rapid, but you throw snowballs at Santa Claus. I don't know. That may knock you down a notch or two. But I was like, okay. And then Tony Gwynn said it in an interview. And I was, Tony Gwynn? Wow. Well, that's nice of him to say. And the third person was Peter Gammons. Said it, I believe, on some sports show. And then all of a sudden the Sporting News prints it. And I'll be honest with you, Vince, it's embarrassing because how do you live up to that? And man, if you do anything wrong, you're the worst fans of baseball. Like you can't go nowhere but down when they say that. So I had nothing to do with it. It's a little embarrassing, and I wish that had never come about because now that's all people say. Oh yeah, St. Louis. Look, nobody's coming to the games. Best fans of baseball, and they just kind of sticky with it. So with that being said, there was a couple things that happened this week that I don't think it proves for the best fans of baseball. They Kershaw was pitching here in St. Louis. Clayton Kershaw, the great pitcher, he's been hurt a lot. He came back, and during his warm-ups, they did a tribute to him, but it was all Cardinals get big hits off of him winning games. And I was like, oh, that's Bush League. You don't have to do that. Now, I will say this. Every time I go to Kansas City for a 3-game series, Cardinals and the Royals, they always show the 1985 World Series. Lonnie Smith catching the last out. They're all celebrating. And I remember me and Troy Lou going, golly, I wish they had other video to show besides that, because every year you'd have to live through that. I said, I just pray they win another World Series where they have something else to cheer about. And they did eventually. But the Royals didn't like go after a single player or anything like that, or anything a player did wrong. So it made me embarrassed that they did that, because Clayton Kershaw deserves nothing but respect. And they put this Matt Adams home runs off of him. And then, of course, he says after the game, well, what do you expect from the St. Louis Cardinals? Like, yeah, it took us down a couple notches. I hated that. So did you see that, Vince? And where that?
I did think it was.
Yeah.
If it's regular season game, okay, that's needling. And if I'm a pitcher and it's regular season, it's needling. Okay, yeah, kind of funny. But when you're talking about playoff baseball, that may have been hitting below the belt. And I wasn't terribly offended by it. I wasn't terribly offended by what he said. It's kind of it's in the fringes, but it's still in the bantering kind of things.
Yeah.
That kind of side of things. I was surprised some of the Cardinal fans who were like just jumping all over him when he didn't start the fight. They threw the first punch.
That's right.
If you can dish it out to needle him in that way, you should be able to take it. It's not like Jeffrey Leonard. He didn't just come out and say, hey, this is a cow town. He didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't throw the first punch. The Cardinals did. And I don't know the protocol for showing stuff. I just know if I was like in management with the team and this is the video montage they put together, I would have said, no, this is a future Hall of Famer. We're not going to bring that stuff up. That was in the heat of competition a long time ago. Let's honor the guy. He's come back. And instead they kind of did this.
They did it. I know. It's going to take a long time to get over it, too, because, people say, oh, the Cardinals, man, they'll do that kind of stuff. Vince, they always have at the ball game where they had the ball and the 3 hats, and they move them around, and you got to guess.
The older I get, the harder it is to keep up with it, but go ahead.
Well, I'll be honest. I like a joke as much as the next guy, but I just think it's this. When the Cubs came to town, I was at a game one time, and they had the ball and 1 hat, and they just moved it around, and it was a Cub hat, too. And I was like, oh, you dirty dogs. That's terrible. And everybody was laughing. I've only seen it the one time, but that was a little rough, But I think it was that was more good-natured fun. But Kershaw, every game he's pitched, he got the reputation of not being a playoff pitcher or big game pitcher. But my God, the guy was great in the regular season. And most of those games came down to 3 to 4 pitches. If this hadn't happened and that hadn't happened, he would have beat us. So, that just 3 or 4 pitches changes your whole history. And I'd say, as a fan, I'm saying, hey, we're lucky we got through that. And thank you, Mr. Kershaw. It's been a pleasure watching you pitch. But I hated that. And the other incident, and I was going to ask you about this one too, is the Wilson Contreras with the Brewers, where his leg was sticking out and Durbin tripped over it. And then they were talking from the dugout, and I think it was Hoskins. And then later, Hoskins got hit by Plante. He goes to first, and I think Contreras pretty much said, hey, you got a problem? Well, say it to me now. And Hoskins didn't say anything. Then
I'm not a fan.
Wilson gets hit. You know what? I heard that in Philadelphia, too. There was something about him. I don't know anything in particular, but, we're not playing good. And I think one of the things Contreras says, I'm firing his team up. I'm going to fire. And like when he hit the home run, which was classic, and he's looking back at him, I'm like, oh, don't poke the bear. Don't poke the bear. But then his brother hits a home run, and he does a little dancing too. And it's kind of, I mean, that's fun for baseball right there.
That was
Brothers
the
hit home run.
game for a 3-4 run win. It was so theatrical for a game that wasn't that close in the end. But I'm telling you, that was an experience with Contreras because he hasn't played first base with this year. That was an experience for him to back up after catching the ball. He will never do that again. And I think that they should have taken that into consideration before chirping at him. Who was it that he tripped? Was it
Chad Durbin, I think, the left fielder?
Yeah, Durbin chirped at him when he was going back to the dugout. Then Hoskins has to jump in because that's what he does. But it was an experience. I've watched Wilson long enough. You've watched him long enough now. He's not a dirty player. That was an experience. He could have easily gotten hurt too because he was the stationary object and this guy is moving full speed. He's not going to do that on purpose. But I thought the classiest thing, he knew he was going to get hit by Quintana. They're friends. They played together on two different teams. Quintana hit him. He went down the third base line, grabbed the ball, picked it up, ran to the mound, gave him the ball, patted him on the shoulder, and said something like, "That's how it's done. It's over." So, but it wasn't over because he came up in the ninth, hit that shot, and just let them have it. And nobody's coming out of that dugout to fight him. No one's going to do that. Nice guy, but he is intense. And I did like when Hoskins was on first, it almost looked like they were just having a civil conversation. But they weren't having a civil conversation. Like, okay, big guy, I'm right here. What you got to say to me? So.
Say it right now. Yeah, I tell you what, I'm glad he's on our team. And that thing, I just thought any moment it could erupt into, a big old brouhaha. It didn't. And when he went out there to get the ball, I was like, what the heck's he doing? And then he got it. He tapped him. They're friends. And he ran to first base. I thought, well, that's pretty classy right there. Getting hit and thinking, said, hey, I love you, man. He goes to first base. That was pretty wild. But I'm glad Wilson's on our team. And I'm so proud of him. He went to first base and he's playing an incredible first base and he's hitting. He's great in our lineup. So it's a pleasure having him on the team. Now, things haven't went our way this month as we have talked about. In April, we were 14-17 and just kind of running like in sand, But then May came, and I think part of it was an easier schedule. And we were, let's see, I got us we ended May 33-25, and I was like, my gosh, I don't know if we're this good. Baseball is one of those games you can't get too high when you win or too low when you lose. And at the end of May, I was like, we're good, but I don't think we're that good. And then now we come to June and we're 4-11, and there's been some tough losses in there. Helsley blew a save, and it's kind of odd. We've gotten destroyed by the Royals, the Blue Jays, and the Brewers, but we took 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. There's no rhyme or reason for that, but we did. Maybe we just playing the Dodgers brings your game up a little bit. So I don't know what the rest of the season is going to hold. I don't think we're a 4-11 team. I think that percentage, I think we'll play better ball than that. But it's just going to be fun throughout the year. And that's a young team. A lot of growing pains, a lot of learning. When you get in a slump, good veterans, everybody slumps, but you're savvy enough to pull yourself through it. You can work the walks when things ain't going good. You can do the little things right, move the runner over. So I'm excited to watch this team play. Like I said, I think the Cubs are about 2 years ahead of us, but we're coming. And we're better than we were 2 years ago. And I'm excited for the rest of the year. And next year, I think we're going to kind of know more what we got. And I think I can see the Cardinals making some moves. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And Vince, I'm just happy for the future right now. I think we're in third place, and us and the Reds and the Brewers are pretty close. And you guys have a nice, healthy lead. This stage of the season, Nothing's out of hand. Anything could happen. We could finish last, which I doubt, and we could finish first, which I doubt. But we're going to be a second, third, or fourth place team, and we'll see what happens. So anyway, that's where I'm at, Vince. I don't really want to talk about the games because they were so sad, but that's where we're at right now.
JJ.
Yes, sir.
Since the last time we talked 2 weeks ago, we faced Mackenzie Gore from Washington, ERA under 3, leading the National League in strikeouts. We faced Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty from the Tigers. We faced Zach Wheeler and Jesus Luzardo from the Phillies. And then we faced Paul Skeens from the Pirates. Do you know what all those games had in common?
They all had quality starts when they pitched.
We lost all the games.
We lost all the games. Well, you're facing the creme de la creme right there.
Yeah, I watched every one of those games, and my goodness, from that start where Gore had everything working from the beginning, Jack Flaherty was so on too. Everybody pitched awesome. I'm thinking I can't even fault us. These guys have such nasty stuff tonight. But even with all that, we still got our cushion in the division. So that was awesome. We do have 3 games coming up this week. Starting tonight, we have 3 games with Milwaukee at home, and we need to win at least 2 of those games. And then we have 3 with Seattle at home, and Seattle's
playing better ball.
Yeah, so we're not out of the woods playing good teams, because after we play Milwaukee and Seattle, we play the Cardinals, and you just throw the records out, and we are playing.
We're a desperate team. We're desperate.
So, only real piece of news about players is that Imanaga is making his second rehab start in AAA, so he will probably make his return in St. Louis. And returns can be, sometimes they go in there like gangbusters and are unhittable, and you're like, wow, the time on the injured list kind of did him well. Then there are other times they go out there and they get smoked. So we'll see what it looks like. We're 4-2 this week. Tuesday night, we beat the Phillies 8-4. Happ had a couple of home runs. Watson had a home run. Bush had a home run. And Brad Keller got the win. Colin Ray pitched 4 1/3 innings, 4 runs. Did not have a good outing at all. But we scored enough in the end to win. And then on Wednesday night, we played the Phillies again, and we lost 7-2. Kelly did have a couple of hits, and Warner had a couple of hits. Ben Brown, 5 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs, 8 hits. Was not one of his shining moments. So then we finished out the series against the Phillies. We won 3-2, so we went 2-2 in Philadelphia. Suzuki hit a home run. PCA hit a home run. Tyone 6 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs to get the victory. He's now 7-3 with a 3.5 ERA. And we brought in Presley to close this game, and he actually had a clean inning, 1, 2, 3, to pick up his 5th save. We kind of flip-flopped him with Palencia, let Palencia pitch the 8th, get the hold, and Presley got the save. So then Friday we played Pittsburgh, or Thursday we played Pittsburgh. The opening game we lost 2-1. Skeens pitched 5 shutout innings. Wasn't around for the end of it. Game went into extras. We lost in the 10th. You should not lose extra innings games at home. That's my new thing. You should do it. Suzuki did have a couple of hits. But in that game, Cade Horton pitched good, 5 2/3 innings, no earned runs, only 3 hits, 4 strikeouts. And Drew Pomerantz gave up the ghost runner in the top of the 10th. And so he got the loss, even though he still does not technically have an ERA because that was a ghost runner, doesn't count. So then Friday we won 2-1 at Pittsburgh. As you could tell, the wind was blowing in, and all these games are low scoring. We won 2-1 at Pittsburgh. Swanson had a home run. Horner had a couple of hits. And Matt Boyd, who's now 6-3 with a 2.79 ERA, making an all-star bid. 6 innings, he only gave up 1 hit, and that was a home run to McCutcheon in the first inning, and then settled down, and Valencia came in and got his 6th save. Saturday, we went in extra innings, 3-2. Bush had a couple of hits. Swanson had a couple of hits. Swanson drove in the winning run in the 10th inning. And Colin Ray came back after a poor outing, 6 innings of 2-run ball. And Flexen got the win. Flexen 4-0 without an ERA. Flexen and Pomerantz have saved our bacon this year, and they settled down the bullpen. And now our bullpen, I think the last I saw were like about number 8. And considering what we started with when we were pitching underhand softball. So I'll take it. Good week for the Cubs. Next time we talk, we'll be having that first game against the Cardinals. And
I know. I hope we right the ship. I just hope they're competitive, fun games. And, those are some dramatics there in the 8th and 9th inning, Helsley, I'll be honest, when he comes in now, you're like, last year he was just shut down. This year, it's like, it just seems like the ball will find a base or bloop it in there or something. It's just that kind of year.
Maybe Helsley should move to the 8th inning, and in the 9th inning, you should bring in Jeremy Connor to close out the games.
Jeremy Connor. Nails right there. He'll put you out.
Nails. Jeremy. Comes a time in every man's life when he needs some advice on relationships. You need to listen to the podcast DMDR, which stands for Dating, Marriage, Divorce, Remarriage, from my good friend Jeremy Connor, the Dr. Phil of the Boot Hill. You can find DMDR on Spotify or whatever platform you choose to listen to your podcast. Welcome to the panel segment. We have once again Ray Hartman joining us. Ray's been with us a few times. Making his 2nd or 3rd appearance on here, Gary Reinhardt, 2nd.
Yeah.
And making his 57th appearance on here, Brody Jackson. So I want to start with the obvious question. Is anybody else as angry at Major League Baseball as I am that we are going to be the last week of June before we finally play each other?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, ain't it? We used to start this in April. We'd have 2 series, one there, one here, but now it's this late in the season. But no, I'm not mad. I mean, if you're going to have to play everybody, that's the way it's got to go. You got to squeeze everybody in. So I guess that's the way it is these days.
Yeah, I'm not mad either because I get to see a lot of the other teams that I normally wouldn't see.
I'm really pissed because my team would win 95 games a year if we got to play the Pirates and the Reds 100 times like we used to. I wish we were playing. It is, though. Some major leaguer said it the other day where it's dumb. He goes, he was a National League guy, and he goes, it's the 2nd week of the year and Toronto's in town. He goes, it doesn't make sense to me. And it is. It's weird that, how the schedule is. The last week of the season, you could be playing the Tampa Bay Rays when it matters the most,
Yeah, that's crazy.
I feel like the divisions aren't as competitive as they are as they used to be. Even when I started watching baseball back in 2018, we used to have the Cardinals and Cubs rivalries, where you had La Russa and
Baker.
Yes, and Dusty Baker cussing at each other. But I mean, anymore, it's like, you know what I mean? We've been playing catch up with the Cubs for the entire season, really. And
we don't see them. How can we have a rivalry?
Exactly.
Right.
It's almost halfway through the season before we even see them. There's really not even a rivalry. And it's harder to catch up. If you're 7 games behind, you know what I'm saying? We have to rely on the Cubs to get beat by somebody else to catch up with them. It's just tough baseball.
Now, those early season series, rivalry series, they bring out the fans at a time when it's hard to bring out the fans. And I liked a series, home and away, in April, maybe the beginning of May, and then you had it again in the summer, and then as the summer finishes and goes into fall, you have some more games.
Oh, that's the best.
It's going to be fun watching them play 13 times for the rest of the season, but I just wish they would have put one of the series towards the beginning. I mean,
April or May.
If it would have been at the beginning of April, you guys would have got swept. You were playing terrible. This would have been in May when you guys were red hot and we were hot too. That would have been a lot of fun. But now things have kind of, for both teams, leveled out a bit. So I'm not saying I'm not going to have fun and watch it and enjoy it. I'm just saying I just wish I would have had this a little earlier, at least a taste of it.
And Vince, like you said, used to we played more games. And in April, we're not the same team we are in midsummer. We're not the same team we are at the end of the year. Injuries or just some people going slumps or just rookies come up that you didn't even see being a part of the team and being a big part of it. So different things happen. It's good to see each other. All right, you got us in April. Now let's try to get you in June. But with this, it doesn't feel right. It's not. That's the beautiful thing about baseball. It's like 162 games, 6 months. The series were all the same, and now it's kind of just mashed all together to try to fit everything in that little window. Now I just don't like it like I used to.
Now the whole thing is win 2 out of 3. Win 2 out of 3. That's it.
Yeah, just keep doing that.
Well, that ain't bad. Is my hero.
But it's just whoever you're playing. I don't know. But I see what you're saying. It takes away the luster of it.
It does. A bit. So, predictions. I know the series is still almost a week away, but we won't be having our episode till we're on game 2 night. So, prediction. How's this first series going to go?
Is it a 4-game series or 3? Is it? I don't remember. Is it?
You're making me get out of my phone.
I'm sorry. I can't remember. We've had a few 4-game series.
We have 2 4-game series with them.
If I remember correctly, it's like the
Is that Thursday, Friday,
22nd to the 26th. If I remember on TV, I haven't seen that in a second. So
It's a 4-game series.
4-game series.
Oh, man.
Of course, I'd love to go 4-0, but let's be realistic here. I do think probably 3 of the games will be very competitive. At least we're a competitive team. I mean, the games are competitive. And 2 years ago, we would just get smoked, and it just wasn't even a chance. If we got behind, the game was over. So I think it'll be about 3 of the 4 be competitive, but I think we'll get lucky if it goes 2-2. Because the Cubs are very good this year, and we're just okay. I truly feel that. Anybody can win on any given day.
I'd be happy to split.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with the split too.
Really?
I'd be happy with the split also, but realistically, I think the Cubs are probably going to get us 3 out of 4.
Are the Cubs that much better than us? I mean, their schedule's been pretty favorable.
Yeah,
They're good.
April, you're right, after April, but I just look at their bench. It's like, I don't know. I think they're starting pitching maybe. And even though you lost Steele and the Japanese pitcher, you guys just seem like your pitchers hang in there. We always have like one inning where it just sort of explodes sometimes, or we don't hit at all. The other day, somebody pitched a great game, and we still lost the game like 3-2. We didn't hit at all. You
could have been talking about 7 out of the last 8 games.
6-3 hits to score a run.
We couldn't hit to save our lives the last week, and our pitching is still top 10.
I'm very proud of them. They've done a great. I mean, even Michaelis, who people kind of wrote off, he's actually only had really 2 bad starts.
He's all right. He's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take him.
That's why I don't think anybody's going to get to this fire Marmol stuff, because they're overachieving what we thought they'd do anyway. So, and I will say there's a lot less comments about how bad management is when the team's over 500 in the middle of the season.
As strange as this sounds, if we kind of peak and have continue and play good ball the rest of the year, Marvel's got a shot at being manager of the year, because everybody else had high expectations. We have such low expectations.
I think our best baseball's behind us. Unfortunately, I said after that run we had, all we had to do was play 500 ball, and sure enough, we're playing .150 ball right now. So I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this team hasn't peaked, and it seems like most nights we're in it. Most nights of the week we're competitive, and that's all you can ask for 5 months out of the year. In September, you want to win, but the rest of the months, you just want to be a competitive ball team. So
I still think our defense is some of the best in baseball. Our infield
has been so far.
And I appreciate Contreras. We just had the Devers situation where he refused to move positions, and Contreras goes over to first base, works his butt off, and he's done a great job. I mean, defensively, he's went beyond what I thought he could do at first base, and I really respect him.
So far, I'll give you that this year. And last year, his numbers were pretty good for the year for what it was. But we can all agree, hey, he's not Rafael Devers. That's a $300 million guy compared to. But I mean, here's the thing: Contreras, as being Cardinal fans, and you know this, JJ, old school. It's really weird to me to have a guy on the Cardinals that looks down a dugout and, pulls his chest out when he gets a second on a double in Wrigley Field. It's weird having a showboat because you don't usually see him because everybody bats 260 now. There's only a 26% chance I can rub it in your face. And to see guys showing off is a really weird thing because 80% of the time you're going to fail. So I don't know. It's different because most of those dudes keep their heads down because 30% of the time is the best they can do, But anyway, I love his hustle, and I would say not only has our infield defense been great, but outfield with Scott and Jordan Walker. That's the reason he's in the lineup every night is that defense, and his offense is starting to come around. So who knows?
You're right. We're finding out a lot. Gorman couldn't hit his weight, and all of a sudden now he's been one of our hottest hitters over the last 10 days.
He can hit home runs. He's Paul DeYoung. He's all or nothing. And the thing about Nolan is when he hits a home run, you go, okay, that's expected. We've been waiting 7 games. Okay, So I don't know. I just stick with. If I was the Cardinals, I'd have Brendan Donovan giving clinics every afternoon because the dude is a hitting machine. But that's not what they want in the league anymore. They want guys who hit home runs. They don't want guys to hit doubles.
You're right. Yeah.
That's what happened to Matt Carpenter. That's what, we'll never have another Pete Rose or a Ty Cobb kind of hitter, because Spingles don't sell seats, Not
when they trying to teach every kid for, what is it? Help me out, guys. Launch angle. Yeah.
Vince, we probably got off that question. I forgot what question.
What were we? Yeah, he was talking about the schedule.
Oh yeah, the schedule.
Well, there's 10 other things we can think about.
I got a question. The All-Star game's coming up, and I seen the early voting, and so here's the question: should we vote for the guys that's had the best 2.5 months, or the stars? Like, I noticed Mike Trout's the 3rd biggest vote getter in the American League for outfield. Well, Mike's hit some home runs, and when he plays, he's only hit like 220, but he's hit a lot of home runs, and he is Mike Trout. Or should it be the guy who, I know the big thing in shortstops, it's Bobby Witt Jr., who's having a very good year, but you got that Wilson kid in Oakland that's just hitting like 363. Yeah. So if everything's equal, I kind of favor the star, the Sotos and the Harpers.
Well, you remember when we were younger, Cal Ripken was batting 250, but he still was the starter. Yeah. That kind of stuff where Mike Schmidt was past his prime, but they still had him there. Ozzie Smith. So I don't know. You got to mix it up. You also have the guy who's batting 330 and the guys, I don't know. That's a great question because it's usually it's both. But you do have a couple sneak in where you have the guy last year. We had a guy batting 220 that made the All-Star team because of votes. So that's a good question. That's That makes me think of spring training with how many guys this year batted 350 in spring training, and it didn't mean anything because none of them got brought up because of all that financial, the extra year thing, and you go, why are they even playing spring training games? And a couple guys said that if I'm batting 370 and I'm not going to make the club no matter what,
You're right.
Why are you wearing a New York jersey, Vince? What's up with that?
I bought this last year trying to get some karma so I could get this man to come to Chicago.
Oh, wow, there he is.
It didn't work, but I'm happy with who is in Chicago now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
He should be a All-Star this year.
And that's a New York Yankees jersey?
Yeah, it's Yankees jersey.
Is there any way to make that a Mets jersey?
I'll ask Mark. Mark, president Mets fan, so.
Huh.
Well, JJ, I'll jump into your question. I like both. One thing that I have seen, we've all seen this because we've been around, players who have come out of nowhere and have a smoking 2.5 months make the All-Star team, and in a few years are out of the league. That happens quite a bit. So I don't want solely to go on the statistics of the first 2.5 months. So I want kind of a mesh. And I think that's what the voting does. You are going to get people who are just going to vote for their favorite player. When I was a kid, Dave Kingman, he played 28 games this year. He's been disabled the rest of the time. He was my starter, so. But then I would also look and see, this kid from Atlanta, this catcher, Dale Murphy, seems to be pretty good. He's hit like 310 and with some home runs. So, but I would always go in with my favorite players. I'd had 2 or 3 favorite players. I'd vote for them first, and then I would look at the stats. I knew Dave Kingman was not going to be starting in left field in the All-Star game, although he did once. I knew it wasn't going to happen, but
yes,
hey, he was my guy. Ray, jump in.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Did you like?
The name of the game kind of gives it away. It's all stars. So I know there's voting and whatever, but I think the stars of the game should be there. Because like Vince said, you could have a guy who's hot the first 2.5 months and then you never hear from him again. So, and I know the fans go to the All-Star game to see the stars of the game, the ones that have consistently done it year after year, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Not just somebody who's done 2.5 months of, hitting good. I know right now, I've looked at it not too long ago in Chicago, their outfield, I think 2 of their players are leading in the voting, if I'm correct on that. It's PCA and Suzuki. Is that
Tucker?
Right? Tucker. Thank you, Tucker. Yeah, they're leading in the voting. Should they be there? Probably. But there's other all-star outfielders that should be there too.
I have to say, both of those probably deserve it, though. PCA.
Yeah. I'm not saying they don't, JJ.
Huh?
I'm not saying that they don't.
Oh, yeah.
It.
I was just thinking. I'm thinking of all the guys in the years they've had, and like the stars, of course. The last year that Albert Pujols was in the league, they put him on the All-Star team.
Right.
And like, well, that's nice.
That was the first year they did that honorable member because they made Cabrera the All-Star for the American League that year too.
That is nice. But he was in that home run derby, and I thought, oh no, Albert's gonna. I thought he'd embarrass himself because he's older and he's not having the years he used to have. He actually got to the second round, and I was so proud of him. But kind of scared me a little bit there,
So Ray said something I thought Vince was getting at, which is not only they're out of the league in a couple of years, but like Ray said, you see these guys who have 2 good months. We don't even hear from them in August or September. A lot of them where they peak and then it's over and they it's all downhill or they get the book on them.
I always remind people Brian LaHare once made the All-Star team, and I bet nobody on here remembers who he is.
Who did he play for?
Played for the Cubs.
How do you spell his last name?
Lahare.
Nope, I don't know.
No,
okay.
No clue, Vince.
For the first half of the season before we got Rizzo. And he was super hot. And he made the All-Star team, and I don't even think he finished the year on the roster.
Wow.
And then he was, last I heard, he was like in Korea hitting 220, which is where ex-Cubs All-Stars like Addison Russell and Brian LaHair end up in Korea struggling.
But you remembered him. You remembered him, Vince.
We had Ryan Ludwig did the same thing where he was hot as hell, and in the second half he cooled off. I think he batted 240, and he was an All-Star that year, though. You know, because at the All-Star break he was batting 285 with 18 homers. You know.
Didn't he finish with like 35, 37 home runs?
He might have. Yeah, he might have. Yeah. No, he was one shot in the pan, like two. You know who I'm thinking of? I'm not even thinking of him. I'm thinking of Jeremy Hasselback or Hasselman or whatever it was. JJ, you remember him a couple of years ago? The guy who could only hit a straight fastball?
No, I don't recall that. Jeremy Hassel?
Hasselman. Or I'll look at our Hasselback. It was he was a lefty and he just came out of nowhere. And then sure enough, he was gone by the end of the year where he was, wasn't even on the roster.
What team was that?
Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals? No.
Yeah.
I
can't. Is it Hazelbaker?
Vince, get out your Googler.
Is it Hazelbaker?
All you got to do is put in Jeremy Hassel, and it'll start coming up. But because get the name right for me.
I remember Mike Laga hit one out of the park, foul ball, and we thought, ooh, look at this guy, but he didn't stick around very long. Kenny Reitz at 400 through May.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
I know a guy who helped pay his rent the last 9 months of his life because he couldn't work.
Oh, man. Well, that's very nice of that guy.
Jeremy Hazelbaker.
Hazelbaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
You want to look at that first year numbers and see if he was hot?
I like how you put Vince to work. Yeah. Get on that, Vince.
He's wearing a Soto New York Yankees jersey and a Cubs hat. He's going to work till midnight on this.
Hazelbaker, 2016 with the Cardinals.
Can't remember him.
Gosh, he's only 37.
God.
Just a baby.
He went to Arizona after us for a cup of tea, and that was about it, right?
Yeah.
Man, you're good. I applaud you, man. That's great memory. I can't recall that guy.
I haven't missed a Cardinal game since 03, so it's ingrained. I got nothing else to do in the Midwest. You know that, JJ.
That's right. Hey.
Oh, who had the most hits in the 90s? I love that trivia question.
Oh, who had the most?
Mark Grace.
Mark Grace, yeah.
Well, Vince
Mark
knows.
Grace.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a good question.
I got one. You can keep going though, Vince. Whenever we get time, I got one to stump all you guys.
When there's a lull.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a question that Frank or Vince met my buddy Frank. He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame for the Salt Lake City Trappers. They just had a documentary come out about him, and it's going to be in theaters coming up. They won 28 games in a row. That's the record. But anyway, the owners of that team were Bill Murray and his brother Brian Doyle Murray. So we went to the Cubs game last year with Brian Doyle Murray at Wrigley, and Brian Doyle asked Frank, I got a trivia question for you. What does Sparky Anderson, Babe Ruth, and Tom Seaver all have in common? Have I told you this one, Vince?
No.
Okay, good.
I think I know.
What do those three guys have in common? Babe Ruth, Tom
I think
Seaver.
I know it. All their first names are George.
Fucking JJ. Wow. It took Frank 20 minutes. I can't believe that. Wait till I tell him tomorrow. It took JJ
George
under
Hartman
16 seconds.
And I think Ken Griffey Jr., I think his first name might be George, too. I think Ken's his middle name or something like that.
I'll look that up.
Look that one up. How about that,
Look
man?
at you. Look at JJ.
Wow, that's pretty good, JJ.
Good job, man.
Every once in a while, a blind squirrel finds a nut.
You found three of them on that one. Wow.
All right.
All right, go ahead,
one more question before we hang it up here. What what odds do you give for the Cubs making the postseason and for the Cardinals making the postseason?
I say unless the Cubs have some catastrophic injuries, like PCA blows out an ACL or something, slide into second.
Don't say that. No.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Unless you have something catastrophic like one of your name players like that getting injured. I say the Cubs have a 75% chance.
I think it's higher.
It probably is higher, but they've been playing great. I think aren't they the second team in the National League? I know the Mets are.
The Mets may have the best record.
They've been first, second, third, kind of switching with the Mets and the Dodgers.
Oh, the Dodgers too.
And I look for them to make some moves. I think they're pitching. They gotta to compete with the big dogs. I mean, to compete with the Reds and the Pirates and the Cardinals and the Brewers. You guys are fine, but when you go against the big guys in the playoffs, I could see you gotta get a few more, maybe one or two more pitchers, or I don't know. That seems a little shaky to me. Your bullpens look good. I mean, veteran has at the beginning. So I think I'm going to give you guys like 85% chance of making the playoffs. I'd bet big money on that. But
what do you give the Cardinals?
I think as long as we're competitive, I'll be happy. But to make the playoffs, I give us about a 33% chance of making the playoffs. And really, when we get there, I mean, then it's anybody's game, but
not our game.
Yeah, not our game. It'd be
fun.
fun.
One and done if we get lucky enough.
Yeah, everything had to break, and batters have to wake up. We just got young players, and that's the thing about young players. They're inconsistent. They're finding their way. People find a book on them, like you said, and then they have to adjust. So we're just going through some rough times now. I don't think we're as good as we were in May, but I don't think we're as bad as we are now. So we'll be somewhere in the middle. And if we go above 500 and they're in a September run, I'd be so proud. But about a 33% chance of making the playoffs. That's what I think.
Ray, you want to take it or you want me to take it?
I'll take it. I'm going to give the Cubs about 90% chance of making the playoffs. They're just looking real good. And like Brody said, unless they have something catastrophic happen, I don't see them not making the playoffs. And I'm biased here. I'm going to go with about a 60% for the Cardinals. That's what I want. Just if we get almost there, I'm happy. But I'm happy with the way we're playing ball now. I know we had that stretch in May of 820 ball, and that's not sustainable. Everybody knows that. It's for any team. It's not going to happen. We're not going to keep playing like that. But I think we'll finish maybe 6-7 games above 500, and I'm hoping for more. But
yeah, that's nice.
That's the way I see it. And that if we get a wild card spot, that how happy I'll be.
Oh yeah.
I looked this up a week ago. A week ago, Vegas had us. It was $8, or it was $2 or $8 to win $2 on us not making the playoffs because we were so hot. Now I don't want to look. So I would say we're 50-50 and the Cubs are 95%. I think even if the Cubs have an everyday player get busted out, as long as they have their pitching staff, everybody's in trouble. So everybody in the Central. I don't know about everybody in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, the Cubs are going to lock up the Central, in my opinion. There's no reason
all
why
year.
they couldn't.
Oh, hey, the Brewers are coming, though, but the Brewers are coming. Yeah.
They are.
Right. I'm going to sound like a Cub fan. I would say we have an 80% chance to make the playoffs, and that 20% is based upon the fact that I grew up a Cub fan and I've watched so many
that shit's over with, dude.
Icebergs. I can't go beyond that.
Those days ended in 2016, Vince.
Yeah, I wish they had. I give the Cardinals about a 55% chance. And I've seen all the teams in the Central, and what I like about the Cardinals team is the defense. Victor Scott and Walker are really good, and Walker's got that cannon out there. And left field isn't really a glove position. Just don't embarrass yourself. And, JJ knows I am very bullish on Mason Wynn. I just think he is a fantastic ball player, and you can tell he's been coached really well. Knows the fundamentals. I think the key to the Cardinals is Liebertor cannot fall off the cliff, and it's kind of look like a few of the latest outings. He's kind of like coming back down to earth.
So he's on tonight, so we'll see.
If he can sustain being slightly above average, I like the rest of the pitching. And I really am impressed with what Michaelis has done is he has learned to pitch backwards. Throw the curveball, throw the off-speed stuff, and then set it up for your ball. And so many aging pitchers would do that. You could extend your career if you learn to pitch backwards. And he has mastered it in a short time. Last year, I couldn't wait until we faced Michaelis because we're going to hit him hard. This year, I'm like, boy, we're not going to know what's coming. That's the way he's throwing.
He still doesn't scare anybody, though. That's the problem, and that's the problem we're having lately. He doesn't scare anybody.
Well, Maddox never scared anybody.
Maddox intimidated everybody. Stop it. Maddox intimidated Barry Bonds. Did you put Miles Michaelis and Greg Maddox in the same sentence? Oh, your show's canceled.
Saying as far as the stuff goes,
John Smiley.
Yeah, no, I know. I know exactly what you meant. You should have said Andy Bennis. That would have been a better, because at his end of his career, he was pitching just like that, where he was a 20-game winner. Yeah,
he was very good.
Oh. All right, good stuff.
We do need to wrap this up. Gary's got another engagement to get to because he is such in demand.
Yes, high demand.
Yeah, Gary, we'll do lunch again, and I want to know when Tino's in town. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, I'll tell him you said hi, and I cannot wait to tell Frank JJ nailed it within 30 seconds.
Hey!
JJ, that's wow, that's awesome, dude.
Hey, if you need a trivia player, I'm here, baby.
Okay, yeah, I will. I'm gonna bother you next time we do South County.
Okay.
Hey, does Frank still run the restaurant?
Yeah. We need it whenever you want to go to lunch. And yeah, he's got, like I said, he's got this documentary out, and it's got the whole team because they were all rejects from the Pirates, the Padres, and they won 28 games in a row, and they had to face nothing but pro teams, the Cardinals and the Pirates and everybody else. So yeah, it's an awesome documentary, and whenever they get to the Hall of Fame and they all put the gloves on to grab Frank's bat and his, all that, it's pretty cool stuff. So, but
tell him I said I want him on the show sometime to talk about it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, okay, I'll let him know, and whenever you want to take a cruise, we'll go to lunch over there.
All right, sounds good. Take it easy.
All right, Ray, have a good one, and good to see you, JJ, and you guys safe travels.
Thank you, sir.
You too, Gary. Nice meeting you.
All right, thank you to our panel. Thank you to Brody, Gary, and Ray. Awesome job. JJ, I picked up this pack. It's from 1986, and it's
Stadium
only
Club.
six picture cards, super glossy baseball cards.
Whoa.
Look how small they are.
That's little.
Yeah, have you ever seen these?
No, I have not.
Me neither.
They're
so this is a treat for both.
They said they're leaders. Yeah. Well, I've got something, and I got it at a Boys Dream Hobby Shop. Fresh off the presses, Series 2 Topps 2025. You guys remember Series 1 had Judge on it. Of course, Series 2, you can't go anywhere without bumping into Ohtani. So I'll be opening up this new pack of Series 2 that just came out last week.
Well, you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Let's see what we got in here. A lot of autographs are out there, a lot of special refractors. I don't know all that kind of talk. I just know the players. Let me make sure they're all pointed in the right direction. All right, here we go. This is a summer motif on this one. It's a kid named Mikado from the Phillies. And as you can see, it's got little rising suns on it and stuff. Kind of nice. I don't know that he's a rookie. Is his rookie card right there. How about that? We got Brian Reynolds, the switch hitting center fielder from the Pirates.
Just saw him last week.
Yeah. Very good play. There was a talk at one time he was going to leave the Pirates, but they upped the money and he stayed. Let's see. Oh, the Angels pitcher, Ben Joyce. Did he play with another team, Vince?
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so. This guy here played just with the Angels. I thought I seen his name with another team, but could have been another Ben Joyce or something. This guy's been around the league, and here he is with the Nationals. Josh Bell. I know he was a Pirate at one time. Right there.
Pirate,
Josh Bell.
Padre.
Oh, yeah, he moved around quite a bit.
He's around.
Let's see. Kiki Hernandez from the Dodgers, the dreaded, the evil empire, the Dodgers right there. I don't know what maybe he's dancing or something. Kick. Yeah, they do that little thing when they get on base. Get out of here. Cardinals fly. We haven't been flying a lot lately doing our thing. Jose Sippy, a New York Met. We might have to ask Mark about that guy. I don't know much about him, but there he is diving. Looks like he's going to make the kick. Yeah, right there. Let's see. Brady Basso from the A's. The A's are a very young team with a lot of guys I honestly don't know, but they're really coming along. They were so good early in the season, and they hit the skids. Let's see. I'm kind of skipping over some of this. Oh, Summer Superstars. And you guys just faced this guy, Detroit Tiger, and, of course, it's the great Skubal, the pitcher Skubal. I've never seen that kind of card before, but there he is.
I think that's inspired by Doc Ellis.
He threw a no-hitter when he was watching that, when he's looking at those cards.
Yeah.
And here is every team's got at least an all-star player, Matt Olson from the Atlanta Braves. And I do like those City Connect jerseys right there. And I can tell that they must have some interest. Topps must have interest in those City Connect jerseys because it seems like they put a lot of them on the pictures. And then the last one I have is Austin Martin of the Twins, and it looks like he's a center fielder. So I don't know him, but the Twins have been playing pretty good ball lately right there. So that's my set right there, Series 2. And I'll be honest, I skipped 3 guys that I didn't know how to pronounce their names.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at, Vince.
Well,
I'm excited. Yeah. They're very thin, like they're sticker cards or something.
Oh. Spring Fever Baseball won a trip before to the 1987 spring training camp at the team of your choice. JJ, let's go.
Let's go. The Cardinals won the World Series that year. No, we went to the World Series. We could go to the spring training with them.
I hope Topps has a time machine.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. First card. Willie McGee.
Oh, with a leadoff there. I like that.
Oh, yeah, 1985 MVP, 353 average, 114 runs scored, 56 stolen bases, 17 game-winning RBIs for Willie. Still my favorite Cardinal of all time.
You know, he'd swing his stuff at his ankles and stuff in his eyebrows. He'd look bad for 2 swings, and then he'd hit one in the alley. You just never knew about old Willie.
That's what Herzog said. I didn't get it. The first pitch would be in the dirt. He'd swing at it. The second pitch would be over, set a swing at it. Third pitch, pitcher throw it right down the middle, and he'd get a hit. So, former All-Star pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, Mario Soto.
Oh, yeah, he was
Great
tough.
Changeup.
Yeah, he was a tough pitcher.
Oh, I got 2 stuck together here. Former All-Star pitcher and played for the Twins and the Mets, Frank Sweet Music Viola.
Yeah. He was we just couldn't beat him in that World Series in '87. He dominated.
He was very good then. He may have won the Cy Young Award that year. He was really good.
Yeah. Extra special.
For the Royals, first baseman, former Yankee farmhand, Steve Bye-Bye Balboni.
Oh, yeah, big guy. Man, he got a hold of a few.
Yeah, 1 year had over 30 home runs for the Royals. Good job. Most people in today's world know this guy as a manager, but he was a very good catcher. Look how young he is. Mike Scioscia. Look at that baby face.
Look at him. Yeah.
And the Hall of Fame pitcher for the Twins, who was the number 2 in that rotation, when Viola was number 1 in that 87 Twins team. Bert B. Home, Bly 11.
Great curveball. Hall of Famer, I believe.
Cool.
I like that Twins symbol up there.
That year, he was number 1 in shutouts. He had 5 shutouts. That's funny. 5 shutouts. Some people,
that's a whole season.
That's a career for a Hall of Famer in today's world. He had 206 strikeouts, 24 complete games. Wow. He pitched 293 2/3 innings that year, had 17 victories. What a guy.
293 innings. That's amazing.
The game was different. So, JJ, I'm glad we're back here. I'm glad while I was gone, you didn't take those wiffle ball pitches and completely threw out your arm. Have a heart attack?
No, I'm a rubber arm. I don't throw it that hard. I just throw trick stuff. But yeah, and don't forget to let me know, our Vince, and we'll put your name in for these autographed pictures. We got 4 of them from a Boys Life Hobby Shop, and I'll be down at that hobby shop Sunday with Andy Bennis and Jason Isringhausen. So come by, say hey. Whatever. I'd love to talk to everybody. Say you want to come on the show, we'll hook it up, man. We'll make it happen.
We will make it happen. JJ, you and Brody have a great time in Pittsburgh, and I'll talk to you next week, okay?
Take care, Vince. Good night, everybody.